Seinfeld's series finale continues to divide opinion decades after its release, given the cruel actions of its main characters which led to them winding up in jail. Yet, what Jerry, George, Elaine and Kramer did in this episode isn't nearly as bad as their behavior 2 years earlier, in the finale of Seinfeld Season 7. During that season, George Costanza was engaged to marry Susan Ross, but she tragically died due to an unfortunate accident involving their wedding invitations. While Seinfeld's series finale is its most hated episode, what happened in the aftermath of Susan's death was actually much worse. Between them, the Season 7 and Season 9 endings demonstrate precisely why Seinfeld's main characters are widely regarded as unlikable. At the same time, this characteristic is arguably what makes the sitcom so funny. Although neither of these finales rank among Seinfeld's best episodes, they are probably the two best examples of the show's dark brand of misanthropic humor. Seinfeld's main characters were jailed in the series finale for making fun of someone being robbed. Seinfeld famously ended with a story in which the sitcom's main characters witness a robbery in Latham, Massachusetts. Rather than trying to intervene, they instead make fun of the victim's weight, and decide to film the incident on a camcorder. Their cruel actions land them in jail, in an ending that Curb Your Enthusiasm's finale later repeated. The plot of Seinfeld's final episode self-consciously pokes fun at the reputation its main characters have for being self-centered and unpleasant. The court scene in which Jerry, George, Elaine, and Kramer stand trial for their actions is an opportunity for everyone they've wronged throughout the series to come forward with their own judgments on their character. What they did at the end of Seinfeld Season 7 was so much worse. However, as cruel and indefensible as their behavior was in the series finale, what George and his friends did when Susan died at the end of Seinfeld Season 7 was even worse. Upon being told by a doctor that his fiancée had just passed away, George could scarcely hide his elation. His reaction wasn't one of grief, horror, or devastation, nor did he seem to feel guilty that Susan was poisoned by the glue on the cheap wedding invitations he insisted they buy. He didn't ask to see her, so he could mourn at her bedside, and didn't appear to be holding back any tears. On the contrary, he appeared to be holding back joy and laughter. George wasn't the only one effectively dancing on his wife-to-be's grave, either. Jerry seemed to find the news quite amusing. After all, he and George had openly discussed the remote possibility of Susan dying in a plane crash as a good thing, earlier in the episode. Meanwhile, Elaine affected the most disingenuous condolence ever spoken, and Kramer got Susan's name wrong. The four of them then decided to go for coffee, as though nothing had happened. Jerry's final punchline showed that he was only bothered about his engagement pact with George, and George tried to schedule a date with Marissa Tomei immediately after Susan's funeral. This reaction to Susan's death best explains Seinfeld's unlikable tag. We should all be glad that George from Seinfeld isn't our friend in real life, if he can react to his own fiancée's sudden death with relief and emotional indifference. In fact, this episode ending proves more than any other moment that the show's four protagonists fully deserve their unlikable tag. It also reveals the true secret of its humor.